Good morning and welcome back. Today is the 2nd of July 2026 and we are more than halfway through the year now. Before I start, let's see what news could and has moved the market. We did have unemployment claims and unemployment rate come in at 8:30. We saw a bit of a shift in the chart. Looking at the 15-minute chart, we rejected yesterday's high and we had a bit of a sell-off after that. News later, we have factory orders at 10 a.m. and natural gas at 10:30, so be wary of those times in case you're in any of those plays. Just a very quick one today. I'm a little bit late. I'm still editing my book, almost there. What I'm looking at the moment is this hourly S&P E-mini futures chart, and it looks pretty interesting. Are we potentially putting in yet another head and shoulders pattern? This is the pattern I'm looking at. We can clearly see the neckline around that 75.20. But before we do that, let's just start off with the weekly and we will drop down because we do have a weekly head and shoulders pattern. And we're still holding that weekly downtrend on the right shoulder from the head. So I do quite like that area for rejection. If we break out over this area, get over 75.80, so 7600, then that could be a broken trend line. We may see some more upward momentum. We have just rejected yesterday's high, so maybe we're containing ourselves in this zone. Let's see what happens today. We may sell off, but we are keeping an eye on this weekly neckline around 74.50, 7400. So that's the area I'm looking at. Just keep an eye on that. We do have a volume shelf around that neckline area. Look at the week's volume so far. We've got 1 day left, 2 days left. Well, 1 day because tomorrow's closed, and we've got a similar sized candle to last week with half the volume. It's just not showing that conviction from the buyers. I said that a few days ago as well, and it's still looking like that, reducing volume as prices coming down as well. The green days are lowering, the red days are higher volume at the moment. Dropping down to the daily. Good morning, Mayo. Welcome back. Dropping down to the daily, you can clearly see that head and shoulders pattern. It's not a breach of the pattern until we break that right shoulder. We've yet to get anywhere near halfway up that right shoulder. But we are keeping an eye on that area. Our neckline is clearly defined by that red zone. Look at the volume shelf, that big area of confluence at the top end of that neckline. Volume wise, we had a narrow range day yesterday on average, below average volume. Indecision, it was originally a red candle, then it turned into a green bottom tail candle, and then it ended up as an indecision candle. So that's the area to watch. Notice that area of confluence there. We can probably see a volume shelf. If I go left, there you go, got a volume shelf above, and we're kind of in a little bit of a volume shelf there as well, which is kind of as expected. If we do lose yesterday's low, and keep an eye on a breakdown into that red point of control, and that's around 74.50. That's a bounce area for me. Big area of confluence, bottom tail, bottom tail, bottom tail. So that's the zone to watch today. If we get over yesterday's high, we may be looking to retest that in the right shoulder. Looking at RSI, we're pretty much smack bang in the middle, pretty neutral. And look at the candlesticks, pretty much low average volume. So it doesn't look good for selling, doesn't really look great for buying. So we're kind of sitting in that area where we're kind of smack bang inside this weekly chop zone. Down to the hourly now. Let's get some levels for today. We are looking at the hourly head and shoulders pattern. This is a head and shoulders pattern inside a head and shoulders pattern. So if we zoom out, we can see we've made one big head and shoulders pattern. And are we also looking at a little reversal pattern here as well? We don't know until it plays out, but we are starting to curve around. Levels today, there's only a few levels I like. If we can break out over pre-market yesterday, I like a break and retest long into 7600. If we kind of get back down into yesterday's low area, I do like that area for a bounce. If I zoom out, you'll see a big area of confluence. So I'm watching 75.30 down to 75.20, all of this zone for potential bounce. And look at all the touches. We've got pivots, 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 pivots there, and we kind of held that area. So for me, 75.40 down to 75.20, potentially 7500, all the zones are bounce zone for me. If we see a lot of selling and we do break that trend line, Break and retest of pre-market low down into that 7500, 7540. It's on the cards. We've got a free, a treble-headed volume shelf there. So for me, I'm treating this all as a volume shelf. And the first one's at 75. Then we got 74.80. And then we've got a volume shelf at 74.50 as well, just approximate areas. And that is pretty much it, really. As regards to the ORB, if the ORB takes out pre-market high, yesterday's high, I like it for a break and retest long. Trouble is, do I like the short? We've got a lot of confidence here. We do have declining volume, so if we can take out yesterday's low, we could try and find an ORB short down into pre-market low, then back down into the next significant level, 7,500. And I think that's pretty much it. Keep it really simple. It could be a very low volume inside day today because of the holidays tomorrow. So let's just see what happens. Are we setting up our left shoulder, head, right shoulder? Maybe. Our neckline, if that's the case, would be probably this area here. And that's that 75.20 we just talked about. Tops of these candles, bottoms of these candles. And we do have a few pivots there. And we do have a bit of a volume shelf a bit further down, around 7,500. So that's a key area to watch. So for me, we've got to go with the trend. I do like the bounce down here. If I can see it come into that 75.42 area, this is an area we've been watching. We watched it for rejection. Then we held it. We broke through it yesterday. And then we broke through it again today. I like to see a bounce in that zone. And I think that's it really for ES. Keep it really, really simple. While we are riding that 50 moving average as well. So maybe we can look for a long around that area as well. That add to the confirmation. And I think that's pretty much it for ES. I can't see anything else. SPY, pretty much the same. We're holding this zone. So 743 area, watch that area for a bounce, all up to 745. 750 is an area we've not been able to get past. We lost it, came back, retested it back on the 22nd. Haven't really got back up there. We tried to get there yesterday, tried to get there in pre-market and we couldn't. So for me, if we break out, come back and retest 750, I like it long. Otherwise, let's look for a rejection at 750 as well. So we've got a bounce around 746 or 744. If we lose pre-market low, we lose yesterday's low, and we should be losing that 50 moving average. We've still got the 200 below. Look for a break and retest a 744, 743 short. SPX. I do like keeping an eye on SPX because it shows you a bit of a cleaner chart because it hasn't got any of the pre-market. We do have that head and shoulders pattern. We've got our neckline clearly defined. 7,400 is a bounce area. If we get back down to there, watch for a reaction. We're going to be opening up probably where we closed yesterday, not far away from where we are right now. Keep an eye on that 7,500. That's a rejection point. Otherwise, if we get over that 75, we'll be looking for longs. I don't really want to go short. I don't really want to go long, I meant on ES, if 7,500 is just immediately above an SPX. So just bear that in mind as well when we're playing that area. NQ next. I like the bounce down here because we've been down there so many times and we bounced off that area. So keep an eye on that 29,300, 29,400 area. We have this psychological number 30,000. Notice how we held it there. We lost it, rejected it. We kind of held it then. We came back, rejected it. Held it, held it, held it. Bounced, bounced, bounced again. So 30,000 is a key area. If we get down to 30,000, happens to be yesterday's low. I like that for a bounce. If we can get over pre-market high, yesterday high over 30,350, look for a long into that 36. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not a big fan of it. We are smack bang inside that range as well. We really want to be getting outside the ranges. So just keep an eye on how that moves today. If we get outside the range, then maybe we could find a trade. Don't really want to go short into yesterday's low. We've got to watch that area for a bounce. Don't really want to go long into yesterday's high. We look for a break and retest long. QQQ next. Pretty much the same. Smack bang inside yesterday's range. Look at all this. Really whole area. A bit of volume spike. A volume shelf. A big area of confluence as well. And we're smack bang in that zone. So look for a break and retest over 732. Break and retest below 720. Again, like the others, if an orb sets up, I think I prefer to see it take out two significant levels, which is these key areas, pre-market high, yesterday's high. Otherwise, I see it get below yesterday's low, but I'm not really interested in anything in between. Oil next, red on the day, still looking pretty weak. We have a ceiling now around 70. Let's just zoom in. That's our ceiling, about 69 to all of this zone here actually is our ceiling. So if we retest that zone, let's look for a rejection in that zone somewhere. Otherwise, if we're looking for a long, break and retest over pre-market high. Yesterday's high is the first target, point of control second target. If we lose pre-market low, we can look for trend continuation down. Gold next. Gold is looking like it's reversing. It's been pretty weak over the last few weeks, and we kind of held that 4,000 area. We had a few breakdowns, came back out, breakdown, come back out. We lost it a few times there. But for me, I like this long. Break and retest at yesterday's high, pretty much where we are right now. I like it long, and it's a pivot as well, big pivot and a confluence area. If we can find a long on gold, let's keep an eye on that 4,200 as a potential target. Short wise, potentially we can watch that short there, probably that short there, below yesterday's low. If we're breaking yesterday's low, we come back and retest pre-market low, then at least we've taken out any liquidity that could be sitting there. RTY next. I still like RTY to break out of this box. If you box it all up, we clearly got that box there. We clearly got that box there. We've got this box here. We've got this box here. These are the boxes we're watching. If we can get over pre-market high, yesterday's high, I like it for a long. We said that yesterday and look what happened. That would have been a good trade. Hopefully somebody took that. If we come back down into this box, it's 30,020. I'll be watching that area for a bounce while we're above that 200 moving average and while we're above this point of control as well. So keep an eye on 30.25 for a bounce. And then if we lose this zone, again, bear in mind we're in a big uptrend, anything under 30,020 down to 3,000 is a target, and that could be a bounce point as well. YM next. This is green as well. Look how this is holding that trend line. We're literally hugging the trend line. So for me, anything over pre-market high, break and retest long, retest yesterday's high. We have got a pivot up there as well. If we come back down into pre-market low around 52,500, I like that for a bounce. Big area confluence as well. And we've got that volume shaft to the left. So that's an area to watch today. And then finally, Bitcoin. Are we starting to break trend? That's our trend line. We're holding that trend at the moment. So break of pre-market high and a retest of pre-market high. Long, basically a break and retest of 62,000. I like that for a long. Otherwise, we've got this zone down here for a bounce. And I don't think there's anything else really. That's it. Target 67. That's this zone here. We can target if we're going long. And I think that's pretty much it. Good morning, Sonny. Welcome back. I can't see anything else to say. Today, I'm not sure what the day's going to be like because it's a closed day tomorrow. So it might be just a very low volatility, low volume day. We are smack bang inside yesterday's range, don't forget. I saw Divergence earlier. Where did I see that? Here we go, here. You can see price was putting in higher highs and higher lows. Notice that big seller there. We know it's a seller because we had no follow through. And then Delta was putting in lower lows all the way until here. And then we saw a change in Delta. Price was still selling off. So even that is not giving good signals, the Deltas. So just be wary. So we had massive big green, didn't have any green follow through. So buyers came in, sellers are still absorbing all these buyers. So we've got a Delta divergence playing right now as well. So maybe we can watch this area for a bounce. We've broken that trend line. We've broken this trend line on the 2 minute. Maybe a 75.60. Let me just quickly look at my ES chart again. We are retesting a pivot from post-market, and we are in some topping towers, and we're right at a volume shelf from yesterday. So maybe Let's look for a long. As long as it sets up, I like it long. We're breaking. Cumulative Delta's going in that direction as well. Market don't open for another 9 minutes, so we've finished pretty early. Like I said, there wasn't really much to talk about. There's not really much going on. Just open up my top step. Right, top steps open, almost. I did okay on NASDAQ yesterday. I took a loss on my Apex account, but I took a decent green. I held a short runner as well. And I literally closed at the end of the day for a nice $1,000 win, which is good. I took a couple of paper cuts finding that trade, so it would have been a lot more. I think it's about $900 profit in the end. Right, so I'm ready to turn my ORB buttons on as well. It's on. So we've got 8 minutes till market opens. Don't forget news today. There's not much news. Good morning, Sunny. Welcome back. I'm not sure. I think I might have said hello already. News today. Factory orders at 10. Natural gas at 10:30. We had unemployment claims and unemployment rate at 8:30, and we saw big spike up, and then it gave it all back. Lots of aggressive buyers coming in right now. So if we see a big green bar, maybe we could find a long in the pre-market. Volume wise, we've got volume coming in. Not a massive amount, but it's pre-market volume. Let's have a look at the order flow. Got smallish green deltas, biggest red delta. Small red delta. Yeah, it's not overly convincing, so I'm going to avoid. Here you go. Candle breaking out. Not a great deal of negative delta there. So small aggressive selling on this one. Has to be more convincing than that. We'll just wait for the market to open. Right. I've almost finished my ORB book. I'm just publishing it right now. So what's NASDAQ doing? Pretty much the same as ES. Bitcoin's looking strong. Gold's looking strong. Oil, putting a big green bar, but we've got 1, 2, 3 15-minute topping tails. Little Freddy Krueger fingers. Dow Jones is holding itself near the high. Slight relative weakness from NASDAQ than there is from ES right now. Like I said, there wasn't much buying pressure up there. Just had a bit of a sell-off. Market's about to open in 9 seconds. We are bouncing, as I say, at yesterday's low on NASDAQ, so watch for potential bounce. That's a break and retest of yesterday's low, looking a bit weak in NASDAQ. Or in fact, I prefer a break and retest short because we're retesting the lows rather than the highs. NASDAQ's selling off. Good morning, 212. 212 says he's looking bullish today. And good morning to Craig. Welcome back, everyone. So I'm watching for a potential bounce over this area. It says off of this pivot high here. But we want to get over that 15-minute top-in tail. Got buying imbalances. We've got line point controls down here. We have weak selling deltas coming in to 930. Let's just let the market find a direction first. Yesterday's low on ES, on NASDAQ, looked like it could be a bit of a bounce area. We're going to hold this zone. Look at the buying delta. We've got lots of buying delta. We did see delta, selling delta and price go in line with each other, but we are now breaking trend on the delta, so looking a little bit bullish. What's NASDAQ doing? Do you know what? I like the long here. However, I can see my trade of 8 day. I think I've rebooted my machine and I think I'm having issues still. So probably one of my jobs this weekend will be to reinstall. I'm not going to go long. I did like the long over 60. I'm already at 66, so I'm not quite sure what's happening. Why my machine's just suddenly over the last few months, last month or so, just lagging. So I'm going to have to probably look to reinstall it because I can see my data's way behind. It's not my footprint charts because on my TradeZella account, which is on my other monitor, it's up to date. It's at 62. It's rhythmic. It's got to be because even my rhythmic data is not there. None of my rhythmic on this platform. Craig says 50 points. Good job. So at 33, I'm about 3 minutes behind. I'm 2 minutes behind on my platform. That's no good, is it? So I'm not going to be trading today. I'll keep on my top step. I did take the bounce on my top step account at yesterday's low area I was watching. Yeah, good job. And Claude Eddie says bubbles is a big order block or a big volume delta. So these bubbles shows you volume. So you see this big bubble I'm looking at on the left of this chart. That's telling me that we've got 200 sellers up there and only 4 buyers when I hover over it. We know it's sellers as well because we sold off afterwards. If that's red and we see buyers coming in, then you know that's passive buyers. And so you can use these bubbles. It's a bit like Bookmap. And you can use these bubbles to determine whether that's an area. And then that's a big area there. We noticed we held it, we lost it, came back and retested it for the short. So that's what I watch it for. Like down here, we've got a bubble now, which is, can't quite see, 133 sellers. So we know there's 133 buyers in that area as well. So, and you can see now we're buying. So because it didn't sell off, we know that was a buyer area. So we can watch that area as potential big area when we come back to it later. Here you go. This is that breakout I was waiting for. I said I was looking for over 60, which would have worked beautifully. 60, I probably would have got in on the break of this pivot. I know it's already happened, so it's easy looking at hindsight. I'm not going to be taking anything. But I would have got in probably about here on the first pullback, most likely as well. So I'll wait for the pullback. This is the pullback here. You're welcome, Claude. I'm just watching my. I'm going to probably take some off on my NASDAQ. This is my NASDAQ, by the way. You can see I took the long on the bounce of yesterday's low. There's a volume shelf below as well, and there's a volume shelf where I went long as well, right off of that volume shelf. So I'm targeting kind of this area up here, the high of today, or the pre-market high. We could get there because ES is getting to that point. So, and you know, I don't see why we can't. If I zoom out a bit, it's a bit of a confidence zone. Look at that volume shelf. So that's why I'm targeting that area there, roughly that volume shelf, about 30,099. And obviously we had 30,000 below. We didn't quite get down to there. But I'm looking at my order flow on the other stream for NASDAQ, and we've got lots of aggressive buyers coming in, way more than we've got on ES at the moment. Okay, so I would have got in looking at 60, would have waited for the first pullback, so probably around this area. I'm not taking it because my chart's out by about 4 minutes. Sunny says currently long at 67. Good for you. I'm not sure what the real. We're up to 70 now. Oh, something's happening. Something's selling off. Some sellers just came into NASDAQ. Might look to close a break it. I'm not going to get. So I've just closed my NASDAQ. I'll look to get into it again in a minute. Only because I saw a massive amount of sellers coming in, a massive big red delta bar. So that's a signal to get out. Made a little bit of profit on that, not as much as I like. I should have got out. I was just about to take some off earlier as we're speaking. So 212 says took a small long at 55, which is good. You're 10 points up at the moment. I'd like to pull back to 75.40. And 75.40, that's an area I was watching. I think I talked about, yeah, 75.42 I've got marked up. That's the area I like to see a bounce as well. So I'm still about 4 minutes behind. Let me just disconnect my Apex. Look, see that's cached, all that data is still running, even though I disconnected the live connection. Here we go. Apex is back again. ORB candles coming in now. In this next candle, what I'd like to see is the ORB to be up around that 75, 76 area. And I'd like to see it kind of hold that area, rest for a bit, and then watch for the breakout. That would be ideal. So no trades yet. I did re-enter my NASDAQ, by the way, back at the yesterday's low bounce area. Want to see opening range break through that 75 area. Have a perfect location. Just hold, and we're stalling, slowing right down now. Here we go, breaking out. So we've got two psychological key levels, pre-market high, yesterday's high above. So just be wary that we may see a reaction in that area. I've taken one of my NASDAQs off. I've re-entered. I'm up about $400 on that move. And I'm going to get to break even. I'm at break even now as well. That's a good move. This is my NASDAQ move here. I re-entered back down here. I got back to break even. I'm still targeting. I want to target the high. Put a limit in there, around about that area there. Just below 250. Now I've got a runner in case we get up in that area. And obviously if it stops out at break even, then I've finished trading and I'll be up $175 on that for the day. So looking good. Sort of pullback. So we're coming into that pre-market yesterday's high now. We've had quite a few green candles in a row. Decline in volume on the 5, which didn't do much yesterday. We're now officially breaking yesterday's high. NASDAQ's not showing the same strength. Big 15-minute indecision candle it's given us. So the ORB is now in. You see my data's, my platform's lagging, so that's not put the candle in yet. So my timer's down at 0, but it's still filling in this candle. ORB 75.84, that area, by 75.51. The midpoint is 75.68. So while we're above that, we've got to remain bullish. Look at that aggressive buyer coming, all these aggressive buyers coming in. We saw the delta setting up, we had aggressive buying coming in, sellers absorbing all that buyers, and then that was the entry here, the breakout, that zone there. So we had big aggressive buyer and price broke the 2-minute. And then you could say the rest of this, we had a delta here, so look at this, and then sellers kind of aggressive sellers came in, but we've got a delta right now, and then we had another delta play there. So if you missed the first one, could have got in on this one here. Big buying pressure at the top here, that big green bubble. 382 aggressive buyers, so we know there's 382 sellers there at the moment because we're selling off up there. Still hanging on to that NASDAQ. I'm going to probably be closing it. It's just trailed out. So I'm up about $180 on NASDAQ today. Not too bad, so I probably don't need to do anything on my top step anymore. I'm reluctant to reboot my machine. Yeah, I'm way behind. So it's definitely not my data. It's definitely not NinjaTrader, because my other NinjaTraders is on. It's doing exactly as it should be. It's just this machine, either the machine or it's my Rhythmic. That's the only differences I've got. And I literally rebooted before we started as well. So you could watch a break and retest of yesterday's high. That's a good valid play. It might have already triggered. And we could be setting our breaking candle right now. Got a minute to go and the volume is not quite higher than the previous candle, so maybe not. How's it looking? Looking pretty bullish. ES is definitely stronger than NASDAQ. It's taken out yesterday's high. NASDAQ can barely get out of the pre-market range. So I said I was watching 75.60. Let's go back and see what I would have done. Pretty sure it would have worked. Here you go, 60. So I'm waiting for the pullback. That's the pullback into 60. So we broke out at 9.32. Pullback. We're waiting for the first pullback at 56.60. That's that area there I like to bounce over. Point of control. So I wouldn't have taken it here. Negative deltas, negative deltas. I'm looking for big aggressive buyers coming in at 9.39, around that area. Yeah, I probably would have waited for that big buying delta there. So I would have got in at 9.44, that area. So I would have been watching the delta. Still watching the delta. Probably would have tried to find an entry on a pullback at a level. Probably the first red. That one there could have been long there. 9.75.68, and it would have done okay actually. And then we would have had the big push on the delta about here. Lots of buyers come in. That's fine. Oh, well, Nasdaq's breaking out now. I've got a runner left on there. I've just taken out one of my contracts. I've got one left. That's a good move. With my Nasdaq, so I was in something anyway. So I just got tagged out on one of my, not tagged out, profit on one of my contracts. I'm at break even now. Whatever happens, I make $300 today on my top step, which is good. Let that run harder than it was in the ES. 212 says solid green day, good for you, well done. No trades on my Apex accounts, frustratingly. It would have worked, but is what it is. My system's lagging way behind, about 3 minutes behind, so I'm happy just to watch and just keep an eye on the market. You know, you can learn just as much from watching and trading, because it does take your mind off the ball a bit when you're watching your own trades. I'm not overly fussed. I didn't take a trade, don't have any FOMO. I'm not really too worried. So I know that I'll say tomorrow's another day, but I won't be here tomorrow. It's market's closed tomorrow. I think futures might be open until 1. So look, stock market opening hours on the 3rd. So US stock market, New York and Nasdaq completely closed tomorrow. I think futures are open till 1 PM. Is that right? So we'll look, futures market. Oh, 12 PM. So equities and interest rates close at 12. Materials energy closes at 12. Cryptocurrencies regular. Grains close the entire day. And it closed at 12 noon Central Time. What's that? That is 1 PM Eastern Time. So yeah, they do close early tomorrow. So I won't even be trading tomorrow. So I have got a live schedule. So I'm going to close the live. So I won't be around tomorrow. Have a nice extended long weekend. And I recommend everyone should do that. It's nice to have a bit of a break. So big orders, we didn't really look at them today. 75.95. Got a bit of liquidity all up to 7,600. Look at that, we've got a big one up there as well. 300 orders. Lots of liquidity below as well, so I won't be surprised if we do sell off today, heading towards, we've got 75.30, 20, 10, and 7,500. And then above, we've got liquidity immediately above at 75.87, 94, 76, 59. Sorry, what's that? 75, 7,600, and then 76.33. So I just got out of my NASDAQ for a $400 profit today. That's not bad. So I'm happy to walk away with that. And then I'll just watch this. I'm not going to be trading much longer, I don't think. I'm probably going to use this long weekend to sort out my computer. I'll see if I can. I've got a few spare computers I can set up for my stream. I need to separate my two machines and move my trading machine away onto a separate machine. But it's hard when you've got so much processing power. I've got like 96 gigs of RAM. I've got a decent i9 processor. I think it's a 12 core. So I know it's not related to spec. It's got to be NinjaTrader or Rhythmic, but if I separate, I do all my video editing on here, I do my software development on here. So it's nice to have a separate machine. Um, 212, big holiday for the US 250th birthday. I know, yeah, that's amazing. And England almost lost it yesterday, but Kane saved the day. Yeah, they should call him Saint Kane. Probably get knighted by the king, Sir Kane. It was a tough watch, I must say. But you can see Congo did really, really well. There you can see they're starting to tire. And that's the difference between high performing Premier League stroke top of the Barcelona style players. They're used to this high performance. They play lots and lots of games, high profile games as well. Congo, you can see they just started to lose steam, but they did so well, really, really well. And England's their defence was pretty much non-existent. Against a bigger team, that would have been an easy loss. So hopefully they're going to step up against Mexico, 1 a.m. my time. So Sunday night or Monday morning at 1 a.m. it kicks off. So I will try and watch the game, but I'm not sure whether I'll be around to trade Monday or whether I'll be too tired. So I'll be going to bed till about 3:30 in the morning. And obviously kids got school and stuff like that, so I've got to be up for 6:37 anyway. Dow Jones, topping towel, red bar. Russell 2000, topping towels, red bar. I'm looking at 15. Oil, topping towel, potentially showing a reversal on a trend. What's Bitcoin? Bitcoin looking like it wants a breakout right now. It looks good for a long. That's purely looking at chart patterns, nothing else. Yeah, in 250 years, USA. That's brilliant. That's amazing. Did you know this will make where I live sound really old? There's a church literally about a minute's walk away from my house, and that is older than the United States of America, still standing. I'll see if I can find the picture of it. Here we go. You can see it looks very medieval. This church here. Here we go. Let's just find out the age. (15th century). The church has a 15th century heathstone tower with 6 bells, and the rest of it was rebuilt in 1833. Let's see if I can find the year it was built. I know it's really old. Here we go. Dates back to the 13th or 12th century, that church. So 1200, around that time. So that is really old. Yeah, so this church dates back to the 13th century. What's that? That's almost 900, 850, 820, 800 years old. You could have got America in there twice. So we're holding, so this is a thing. What's my time? Am I up to date again? 10:05. Yeah, I'm pretty much real time again now. I'm giving it time for it all to catch up. I do like this break and retest orb right now. I'm going to try a half risk position. So we've broken the orb, we came back and retested it. We've not had an official orb breaking candle, but this could be the actual break now. So I'm going to go for a buy market. I like the delta. Got some negative deltas coming in here. So this is the buy area now. Big indecision. Slightly more volume. Wasn't much volume on that pullback, which is a good sign. That's what we want to see. Delta looks like it's strong. There's a slight Delta divergence, more aggressive buyers and sellers. Just want to see price follow. We could get 1, maybe 2R into 76. So there's space for 2R roughly above if we take the break and retest. Well, maybe not. Definitely 1R. 1.5R to 7600. $75.81 by $75.88. So that's like a 8-point move. Could try a risk of $100. That'll be about 4 contracts. Three contracts roughly. Let's try it with 3 contracts then. I'm going to buy in on this break and retest. My stop is going to be at 75.81. I'm going to be targeting 7600. It's about 1.5 R if we can get there. So this is a break and retest of the orb. We didn't have the official break in orb candle because it's lower volume, and this is what the break and retest does. It gives you exact, gives you some exact. Oh, you know what I just did? I just bought ES contracts. I meant to buy MES contracts. Let's just get rid of that because I want to do low risk. Do you know what? I'm going to hold off. I made a little tiny bit of profit on that. Wasn't my intention. I'm not a big fan of the movement. I've done my trade on top step today. Why turn a green day into a red day? So I'm just going to sit back. I had issues with the platform earlier. Seems to be okay now. I do like the long here. The reason I like the long, we've got buying delta. We've got a small selling delta, bigger buying delta, and then a smaller selling delta. So as it stands, unless we see some green delta, I'm happy to sit out. But the break and retest of orb could play out. Nasdaq's also selling off a little bit now. Could bring the market down with it as well. I think I'll just happily sit back and just watch, and then call it a really long weekend. Well, as long as we hold that orb candle. Otaku, I think that's how I pronounce your name. Apologies if I got it wrong. 7600 is also psychological, maybe good for longs. Yeah, I generally don't like going long into psychological numbers. You normally get a reaction. But that break and retest would have given us about 1.5, not even 2R. So I wasn't overly infused. There was a little bit of space for a long into that 7600. If we get over it, we might find a long. But also, I'm watching 7600 for rejection, and I'll just show you on my chart. I don't look at lines. That's the line. I look at zones, and that we're kind of in that rejection zone right now anyway. So it was probably more of a boredom trade. I wanted to go long. I already said I wasn't going to go long. I already said I wasn't looking to take a trade because I had platform issues, and I should have just stuck with my plan. Even though I made a little bit of green on it, I did okay on it, but I got out just at the right time. Only because I got in on ES contracts. I only wanted to take it on MES contracts because I want to do a low risk trade. And look at that, I'm glad I got out now. It's holding the orb. We'd have held that low there. And looking at order flow, lack of buyers on the ask. It's just not, I'm not a big fan of volume, especially down here. Plus 80, minus 78, plus 36, minus 260. Looking like it wants to sell now. Look at the delta as well. We didn't get that green delta on the breakout. That's the other thing why I had cold feet as well. And now we're selling off, and price is selling off. And like I said, that 7600, that zone is kind of a reaction zone for me. If you look at the volume shelf on this side, look where the volume shelf is as well, right at that point as well. Yeah, Nasdaq's selling off as well, so that might be a catalyst to drive ES down a bit. But if you're looking for an air gap break and retest, we've just had it. And what I mean by an air gap, we break out, we come back down, we retest with an air gap, and then we break out again. We had Not a great deal of volume on that pullback candle. Even though it's a green candle, it's a bottom tail candle. We know there's sellers there, so I'm calling that a low volume selling candle. We didn't have a high volume buying candle, but it's indecision. Then we had a same volume candle on the next red candle. So this will be, and that's our air gap there, a little bit of an air gap. This will be the tail candle. We've got 3 minutes left, more than half the volume of the previous candle. So if that breaks out over 79.90, 75.90, and we have a big increase in volume, then we may see that 7600 trigger. But look at this. This is good. This is good as well. Delta flip 213, buying imbalances. So that's normally a buy as soon as I see that. More buying imbalances, 186. Small negative delta. So we had a bit of a pullback. Lack of sellers here. Big positive delta. Buying imbalances again. And then a small negative, minus 94 on a green candle. Minus 20 on a green candle. So lack of aggressive sellers now. And we've got buying imbalances on that candle as well. Big 300 delta on this current candle. And then looking at the delta on the right, you can see delta is starting to form as well. Look at all that liquidity up here, all those red lines. I've just drawn it on. 7600, 75.95, all that area. And you can see it all on here. 100, 100, 100, 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 500 contracts sitting right there at the moment. Look like a little bit of a liquidity sweep. ORB break and retest. Market came in, swept it out, and then took off. So these are the times when you want to not worry about it, just jump back in. If you get swept out, have a plan in place, making sure it's in your trading plan, called a re-entry. If it breaks back over, have a second attempt for this exact reason. Otaku says, great insight. Thank you. You're welcome. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. Apologies if I haven't. If you come in often, you know I'm not the greatest person at pronouncing names. In fact, I'm absolutely rubbish at it. So we've got plenty of liquidity sitting above right now. We saw that earlier. That's why I kind of like the break and retest here. Because of all of this liquidity, we know we're sitting up there. Market generally goes towards liquidity. You might take that out and then it might just spill back down again. Look at the delta now. We had one green bar and then we've got a red bar coming in. Two on two says I bought more on that pullback, 75, 78. Good job, really good job. Yesterday's high as well. That's another play I like as well. There's two plays here: a break and retest of opening range, and a break and retest of yesterday's high. These are the two plays I'll watch for. Got a delta flip. Maybe the warning signs were these negative deltas on these green candles. Big positive delta, biggish volume, and then massive amount of volume here, 4,200 contracts. Big negative delta, lots of selling and buying at the high as well. Only two aggressive buyers on the arse there, selling imbalances. Let's see where this takes us. Delta is engulfing that previous, it's like a bull sandwich on the delta chart. 2 on 2 said took the retest of yesterday's high. It worked decent. Took some off already. Good for you. Really, really good. When we're inside ranges, inside a weekly, we've got to look to scalp. We can't really be holding all day. Tough trading conditions at the moment. Really, it's been really tough. Yesterday was a mixed day for me. I was red on my apex, really well, deep green on my top step. It's strange. I can seem to hold a runner on a 15-minute chart, but I can't hold a runner on this tick chart. Something I'm working on. I've got a plan in place. Here you go. We had a little bit of a pullback. So we pulled back on volume as well. It wasn't reducing volume, unfortunately. Lots of buyers at the high with no follow through. Big positive delta on a top and tail candle. So that's a weakness. Only 3 aggressive buyers there. Lots of selling imbalances, and we've broken that pivot. So there's a battle right now. Seller, buyer, seller, buyer. One of my plays I've been watching for is a rejection, maybe at a psychological number or number I'm watching, and then watching it on the footprint charts for the first pullback, which is here, and then take the short, and that would have worked. Would have got 10, 20, 30, maybe 40 ticks out of that. That's one play. So I'm watching, and we saw it. I think it worked on about the break and retest of this yesterday's high. And 10.15. Let's go back to 10.15 or 10.10. That area there. 10.10. So pull back. No, that wouldn't have worked. There was no pullback. It's just a solid green bar, and then it started pulling back. So we've got low volume here on the pullback. So 113, 233, 215. One aggressive buyer. Look at the contracts, only 500 contracts, 600 contracts. So lack of buyers or sellers in these contracts. Buyers tried, sellers weren't interested. Buyers tried, but the buyers just didn't take it up. And then we had one aggressive buyer, negative delta, selling imbalances. There was no follow through on this red candle, by the way. Again, not looking amazing. Minus 43, negative delta, plus 61, plus 122, plus 130. Yeah, nothing looks good at the moment. Nasdaq's looking relatively weaker compared to ES. 5 contracts on the ask there, only 1 on the ask up there. So lack of buyers in this area who want to push the price, or aggressive buyers. We're holding this orb. Now you know why I like the orb so much. Significant area, holding the orb. We've not closed below it yet. We closed on it, but not below it. So volume is starting to increase. Volume is starting to increase. We know that's a big red candle at one point. It's a bottom tail candle. We know that was a red candle at one point. That's a bottom tail candle. Look at the volume. More volume on the bottom tail candles, selling candles, than on buying candles. So maybe this is where we might be seeing a flip. Delta, you can see that battle. Red, green, red, green, green, red. Only 5 aggressive buyers there, only 2 here, only 9 there. And then with negative deltas coming down as well. And increasing volume as well as we're breaking down. Looks good for the sell. But again, hard to go short into yesterday's high where we know that's a bounce point, and pre-market high is also a bounce point. And opening range high, we've got 3 levels here. Pre-market yesterday, that's why we're holding probably. So we've got 3 key levels. Opening range, yesterday's high, and pre-market high, all in the same area. Two on two says work decent, took some off already. Good for you. 2 on 2. Sunny says turned a green day red. Gonna call it before I do more damage. Thanks for the session. You're welcome. And yeah, definitely walk away. This is the hardest part of trading, walking away when you turn green into red. And if you can walk away right now, you've done a good job. You know, that is better than having a green day, because it means you're controlling your emotions. I struggle as well. Ooh. And I'm probably going to be calling it a day pretty soon anyway. Here we go, selling off. And Delta, oh excuse me, Delta's finally taken out that confidence area. Price has taken out a pivot low as well. Are we going to hold it below? Or are we going to see this as a bounce area? It could be a major bounce area. Like I said, 3 key levels all in the same area. A line point of control. Delta flips around minus 380, and then we had a 205. Although we saw selling on that previous candle. Lack of sellers here. Lack of sellers on this candle, 270 Delta. Retesting the pivots from 8:30 as well. We go back to 8:30. That little push out there on the news. Break and retest of that area. 75, 76. Nasdaq's right back at yesterday's low again. And look at that Nasdaq. I'll just open up my top step chart. It's easy to see. How about this? So this is what we want. This is why we keep an eye on point control. We've got a line. We've got our volume shaft to the left. Big area of confluence. Bottoms of pivots. Tops of pivots. Tops of the pre-market high. Post-market high. And we came into this zone. We put in a double top in pre-market, and then we put in a top there, and we sold off. That's why I had one of my targets sitting just there. We came straight into that target. And remember I said I'm watching that volume shelf, and we just draw that over. That's exactly where I took my profit. Just there, and then look at that. It sold straight off. That's why we keep an eye on volume shelves. Oh, okay, I just looked at my P&L for the first time, and bearing in mind I made a mistake and got in on the wrong account and then closed my orders, because if I make a mistake I get out straight away. I actually did okay on my Apex. I got $300, 150, 150 and 60, so ended up green, quite well green. That's because I bought ES instead of MES, and I just literally went long on that. Got out literally about 3 ticks, I think that was. Got out when I realised I made a mistake. We've got some solid 5-minute selling candles on the 15. This is my thumbnails I watch. Check this out, look. Big 15 solid red, big 15 solid red. That's ES bottom left, NASDAQ top left, big solid red. Double top on Dow Jones, yeah, on yesterday's high, big solid red. Russell 2000, massive solid red. Big solid red on the Bitcoin. Gold futures, looking bullish, but not as red. Not as red on oil as well, and SPX. These are the charts, these are the ones I watch every day. My core, my bucket, or my basket of stocks. They're the ones I keep an eye on. They're the ones we talk about in the pre-market as well. 202 says nice pullback. It is, yeah. Coming back down into that area on watch. NASDAQ is broken opening range by the looks of it, and it's a breaking bar on NASDAQ. I wouldn't take it because the opening range is bigger than, this candle's bigger than the opening range. It's gone straight through it. What a nasty selling candle, look at that. Is there news which caused this? Anyone knows there's news which caused this reaction? A line point control, remember I like these. Line point control, we broke it, came back up, retested it and sold off. So NASDAQ is now officially a breaking candle and it's triggered. Yeah, so you've got ES on left, NASDAQ on the right, so that's the trigger there. Not for me. But look at that increase in volume as the price is selling. This is exactly what why we like volume price analysis. That price was increasing, volume was decreasing, so that's a delta divergence. That's the best sign. And look at this, and then price sold off, and then volume increase. So this is a classic point of control volume price analysis. In fact, you should take a screenshot of this because you don't normally get them as clear cut as that. It's literally perfect. That's exactly why we do volume price analysis. Let me take a copy image, and that'll go in my trade database, which if you're a premium Discord user, you get access to. So that'll be VPA. And just to show you what it looks like, my trade database, so you get a general idea if you have interest in subscribing. So you get access to my database, so my trade database here. For example, I've got footprints, order flow, VPA, which I just put in as well, and most of them I annotate like this. Really good educational stuff. You know, this is gold dust, gold mine of information, and especially on the footprints as well, I annotate all of them as well. For example, like this one. And it's really, I'll say that I put them in there because I go through them and like to reread them all as well. When you see something like this setting up and doing exactly what volume price analysis is designed for you to find, you know, that is this one here. Look at this, increase in price there, sorry, decrease in price and increase in price. You can't get any more clear cut than that. That is pretty much the divergences we look for. Nasdaq selling off. And we're right back inside yesterday's range now, so right into that area I like for a bounce. This zone here, the opening range low area. Exactly what I was watching earlier, 60. Here's, might be that bounce. This is not a very eventful day, just very dull. But there we go, bounce at that place I was watching. So around 55.60. Do have buyers sitting at 58, a lot, 240, 75.64, just had a few more come in there as well. So there's buyers intent on limit orders sitting down here now. So it looks good for a potential long back down here. Excuse me. Oh, didn't have a very good night's sleep last night. Remember yesterday I said price was increasing, like we saw here, but volume was decreasing. But volume was decreasing. This is exactly what I was waiting to happen yesterday. Something like this. I'll show you. Let's go into yesterday. Here you go. Quite clearly see it now. So exactly same as today. Oh. Exactly same as today. Let's get rid of that. We sold off in the pre-market, and then price pushed up, volume decreased, and I was expecting this area here to sell off, especially when we saw increase in volume on those red bars, but it didn't, it just kept going. So yes, it's one of those days where it was really tough, where you just couldn't get that break. But that's kind of the opposite to today. Today we sold off in the pre-market, and then price pushed up, exactly the same as yesterday, and then volume sold decreased, and then we went sideways, exactly what we did yesterday as well, and then on lower volume, and then suddenly boom on increasing volume. So slightly better price action than it was, but more predictable today. Look at this big delta coming in now. There's no delta, by the way, on NASDAQ. Not like the delta we're seeing here. In fact, my chart is still way behind. So on that note, I'm going to call it a day. I'm probably going to reboot my machine as well. And then I'm going to work on creating some new hardware, hopefully for next week, but I've got all summer. So it's going to be slowing down over the next few months. So I appreciate everyone being here. Have a lovely day. Have a nice long weekend as well. I won't be back until Monday. Depending on how long I stay up, whether I can stay up for the England game on Monday, 9 a.m. 1 a.m. It won't finish until 3:30 a.m. I'd imagine. So I might be a bit tired. I might not even be around on Monday. But I will message Monday if I'm not going to be around. I'll leave the live stream running. So have a lovely long weekend. Happy holidays to all our American colleagues. And I will see you Monday or Tuesday. Good luck for the USA and good luck to England as well. So I appreciate everyone watching, and I'll see you next week. Before I go, don't forget to hit that like button as well, in case you haven't. Just a quick reminder, helps the YouTube algos. Okay, have a lovely weekend, nice long extended weekend. Okay, I appreciate everyone. Thank you for watching.